Welcome back. Hope you are learning the topics with enthusiasm and getting what you are expecting from my documents as presented. Today, we are going to learn the core telling UCP 600, Article 19, that covers crucial issues of multimodal shipments. This article deals with transport documents covering at least two different modes of transport, often called multimodal or combined transport documents. If you're in banking, trade finance, or an import or export business, getting this right is non-negotiable. A small mistake here can lead to big problems, like your bank refusing to pay. Let us know what is multimodal transport system. Multimodal transport system is a system that uses multiple transport modes like truck, train, ship, air, bike, walking in a single, seamless journey for people or goods, coordinated by one operator under one contract to create efficiency. It reduces costs and offers flexibility, connecting different scales from global shipping to local commutes. It's about integrating various transport types to optimize routes, using technology for smooth transfers, and ensuring accessibility for diverse user needs, from freight containers to daily transit riders. Key characteristics are: integration combines road, rail, sea, and air transport, plus micromobility bikes, scooters for passengers. Single contract. A single multimodal transport operator (MTO) manages the entire journey, handling logistics with sub-carriers. Seamless transitions focuses on smooth transfers between modes, often using standardized units like shipping containers. Efficiency aims to reduce transit times, costs, and congestion by using the best mode for each segment. Technology-driven relies on digital platforms for real-time tracking and coordination. Examples: freight. A container goes by truck to a port, then by ship to another country, then by train inland, and finally by truck to its final warehouse. Passenger. A person bikes to a bus stop, takes the bus to a train station, rides the train, and walks or takes a taxi to their home. Benefits: cost savings, lower overall transportation costs. Time efficiency, reduced travel and shipping times. Flexibility and reliability, greater adaptability to disruptions and more choices. Sustainability, potential for greener options by favoring efficient modes like sea or rail. Accessibility, more options for people who don't drive, fostering vibrant communities. A multimodal transport system integrates different geographical scales from the global to the local. So let's break down Article 19, sub-article by sub-article, with practical examples to make sure you understand it completely. Ready? Let's get started. First of all, let us see what sub-article 19 is. It says, a transport document covering at least two different modes of transport, multimodal or combined transport document, however named, must appear to: 1. Indicate the name of the carrier and be signed by the carrier or a named agent, or on behalf of the carrier, or the master or a named agent for or on behalf of the master. Any signature by the carrier, master, or agent must be identified as that of the carrier, master, or agent. Any signature by an agent must indicate whether the agent has signed for or on behalf of the carrier, or for or on behalf of the master. Here, signature must be identified in which authority and for whose behalf the authority is signing documents. This sub-article defines that the carrier or the master is the signing authority of multimodal transport documents. In other cases, their agents with authority can sign those documents. If agent signs, they must detail below the signature of their capacity and for whom they are signing. Suppose an agent, namely XYZ, is signing on behalf of Captain ABC of a carrier named Pacific Shipping Lines. Here, the signature first, the XYZ next or below the signature, and then the wording XYZ is signing as agent on behalf of the Captain ABC must be mentioned. Otherwise, the document will be discrepant. Sub-Article 19 to indicate that the goods have been dispatched, taken in charge or shipped on board at the place stated in the credit by pre-printed wording or a stamp or notation indicating the date on which the goods have been dispatched, taken in charge or shipped on board. So goods have been shipped on board, taken in charge or dispatched need to be either pre-printed on the transport documents or a notation by other means or stamps will fulfill the requirements of this sub-article and the credit. Then, the date of issuance of the transport document will be deemed to be the date of dispatch, taking in charge or shipped on board, and the date of shipment. However, if the transport document indicates, by stamp or notation, a date of dispatch, taking in charge or shipped on board, this date will be deemed to the date of shipment. This can be shown by pre-printed wording or a stamp or notation with the date. The date on the document is considered the date of dispatch, taking in charge or shipment, unless it has a separate notation like an onboard notation. In that case, the date of the notation is the shipment date. Let's look at an example. A letter of credit requires a multimodal bill of lading from Shanghai, China to New York, USA. The document is issued by Global Logistics and signed. It says goods taken in charge at Shanghai port on May 10th. This is perfectly acceptable. The shipment date is May 10th. Now, what if the document is dated May 8th, but has a stamp that says shipped on board the vessel Evergreen on May 12th at Shanghai port? In this case, the shipment date is May 12th, not May 8th. The onboard notation overrides the document's issue date for determining the shipment date. The key takeaway here is to always check for these specific details to pinpoint the correct date of shipment. Moving on to Sub-Article A, Part 3. It indicates that the place of dispatch, taken in charge or shipment, and the place of final destination stated in the credit, even if the transport document states, in addition, a different place of dispatch, taking in charge or shipment or place of final destination, or B. The transport document contains the indication intended or similar qualification in relation to the vessel, port of loading or port of discharge. This one specifies that the document must indicate the place of dispatch, taking in charge or shipment and the final destination as stated in the letter of credit. This sounds simple, but it's a common point of discrepancy. If the LC says the journey is from warehouse A, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam to Port of Long Beach, USA, the transport document must reflect these exact places. It can't just say Ho Chi Minh City or Long Beach, the details matter. Imagine an LC requires shipment from Factory Zone B, Guangzhou, China to Rotterdam Port, Netherlands. The multimodal bill of lading shows the place of receipt as Guangzhou, China, and the place of final destination as Rotterdam, Netherlands. A sharp-eyed document checker would raise a discrepancy. Why? Because Factory Zone B was not mentioned. The description of the place must match the credit. This rule ensures the goods start and end their journey exactly where the buyer and seller agreed. It's all about precision. Now for Sub-Article A, Part 4. This is a crucial one. The document must be the sole original multimodal transport document, or if issued in more than one original, the full set as indicated on the document. What is full set? If the documents are issued in 3 folds, or first original, second original, or third original, then all the originals constitute the full set. This is to prevent fraud and ensure control over the goods. The holder of the full set of original documents is typically the only one who can claim the goods at the destination. For instance, a multimodal bill of lading might state 3 out of 3 originals issued. This means 3 originals were created, and they all form the full set. The letter of credit will usually demand that all 3 originals be presented to the bank. If the beneficiary only presents 2 out of the 3, the bank will reject the presentation. Why? Because the missing original could be used to claim the goods, leaving the bank and the buyer empty-handed. So always check the document to see how many originals were issued and ensure you present the full set as required. Next, let's talk about Sub-Article A, Part 5. This part says the document must contain the terms and conditions of carriage, or make a reference to another source for them. Basically, the document doesn't have to be a giant novel listing every single rule. It can simply refer to the carrier's standard terms and conditions, which are often available on their website or in a separate document. This is known as a short for more blank back document, and it is very common and perfectly acceptable under UCP 600, but it must be referred if not written on the documents. So if you see a bill of lading that says terms and conditions as per carrier's public tariff, don't panic. That's compliant. Finally, Sub-Article A, Part 6. This one states that the document must not contain any indication that it is subject to a charter party. A charter party is a contract to hire an entire ship. Documents subject to a charter party are called charter party bills of lading. They are riskier for banks because the terms of the charter party contract can override the terms on the bill of lading, and the bank does not have a copy of that contract. That's why Article 19 explicitly prohibits it for multimodal documents. Article 22 covers charter party bills of lading separately. So, if your multimodal document has any clause like subject to charter party terms, it's a red flag and a clear discrepancy. Now let's look at Sub-Article B. This sub-article clarifies some of the definitions. For the purpose of Article 19, transshipment means unloading from one means of conveyance and reloading to another means of conveyance, whether or not in different modes of transport during the carriage from the place of dispatch, taking in charge, or shipment to the place of final destination stated in the credit. This is different from the traditional C-only definition. Since a multimodal document inherently covers different modes of transport like a truck to a train, then to a ship, the concept of transshipment is built in. So Sub-Article B, Part 2 logically follows. A multimodal transport document is acceptable even if it indicates that transshipment will or may take place. This is true even if the letter of credit explicitly prohibits transshipment. This is a very important exception to the general rule. The whole point of a multimodal document is to manage a journey across different transport modes, which is essentially a series of transshipments. For example, goods are picked up by a truck in Milan, taken to Genoa, loaded onto a ship to Singapore, then put on another truck for final delivery. This is a classic multimodal journey. A document covering this entire trip is acceptable, regardless of any transshipment prohibited clause in the LC. Let's wrap up with Sub-Article C. Sub-Article C1 says, a transport document may indicate that the goods will or may be transshipped provided that the entire carriage is covered by one and the same transport document. This part deals with additional information on the document. A clause on the document, such as the vessel or other means of conveyance named herein is intended, does not make the document defective. This provides flexibility. A carrier might not know the exact vessel name far in advance, so they can use words like intended vessel. However, if the LC requires a specific named vessel, then this clause doesn't override that requirement. Also, if the document indicates a place of receipt or taking in charge that is different from the port of loading, let us say place of receipt, Munich, and port of loading, Hamburg. The document checker at the bank does not need to worry about it. The bank is only concerned that the document complies with the terms stated in the LC. They won't investigate the pre-carriage leg from Munich to Hamburg unless the LC specifically requires them to. The bank's job is to check documents against the credit, not to police the entire logistics chain. Sub-article C2 details a transport document indicating that transshipment will or may take place is acceptable, even if the credit prohibits transshipment. It is because loading and unloading to one means of conveyance to other means of conveyance or one vessel to another vessel is natural in multimodal shipment. So it is acceptable. So to recap Article 19, it requires a signed document from a carrier indicating shipment from the place stated in the credit, presenting the full set of originals, and not being subject to a charter party. It also clarifies that transshipment is an inherent and acceptable part of multimodal transport, even if the LC says otherwise. Mastering these details in Article 19 is essential for smooth international trade transactions. It helps you prepare compliant documents as an exporter and check them accurately as a banker. I hope this detailed breakdown with examples was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth trade finance content. See you in the next video. Stay safe.